Hey guys, welcome back to the Roman Rodez YouTube channel. I'm sitting here today with Chris Seifert, one of our good friends, and this is the Avengers Infinity War spoil-filled review. I did the spoiler-free review I put up on the channel a couple days ago, but now we're going to talk about everything that happened in the movie, because there's a lot that happened in the movie. First of all, how did you like it?
I loved it. It was like 10 years. I waited 10 years for this movie, and I was not disappointed.
That's how I felt. One of the things I said is it kind of felt like the cap to the end of all the what came before. Was it 19 movies, right?
Give or take, yeah.
Give or take 19 movies, and it just kind of seemed like the season finale to the TV series that is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I really like that.
I mean, the opening of the movie was really cool and shows me what I was in for.
Yeah.
And actually showed me how powerful Thanos is when he single-handedly kicks the shit out of the Hulk.
That was amazing how they just opened up with that, the Hulk going against Thanos and kind of
there's the Hulk just smashing, doing his thing, and I was like, it was satisfying because it's the Hulk, and I love seeing him in action. And then you got the part where his Thanos' crony was gonna step in, and then his main dude was like, let him have his fun. At that point, I was like, okay, this ain't gonna be good. And he lays waste to the Hulk, and it's not pretty.
And I like how that sets up just how powerful Thanos is, even without all the stones.
I mean,
so he's a formidable foe right off the bat.
I mean, the Hulk took a punch to the throat, just whoa. And then it scares the Hulk. He doesn't want to come out and rest of the movie.
I didn't know how that part of it. It was interesting. The Hulk was so scared that he didn't want to come out. Mm-hmm. I was not a little disappointed, but just how they
I think it was kind of fair since how the last time we saw Hulk, it was more Hulk and less Banner. So I kind of like this.
Yeah.
Of course, it leads to
it's a good evolution in the character, but I think it's kind of like making too also Bruce Banner maybe not as capable. He seemed too much comic relief in a way.
Well,
but that's a small criticism.
It worked. Of course, I guess my favorite sequence when he's trying to get the Hulk out and he gets mad and he's like, Hulk, you big green asshole. Which I was like, okay, it's funny because he treats him like, oh, you're just like an inconvenient roommate.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. But the movie was, I loved it. That was cool. And then it leads to, people say that the humor was misplaced. Considering how dark this movie got, I took the laughs where I could. Because it goes to one of my favorite sequences where Doctor Strange calls Tony Stark a douchebag.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh shit.
I didn't think it was misplaced. I thought that some of the jokes didn't hit, but for the most part, the humor I thought was stand out, And I thought, because I remember Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, that one seemed like the jokes were a little too much, a little too jokey.
Well, I mean, that movie still had my favorite sequence of all time is when we see Drax run with Mantis toward the ship. It comes down, so he runs away from the ship, and then it corrects, so he turns around and goes back to the ship.
Yeah.
That I thought was my favorite. But in this movie, I thought the Guardians were really funny, especially the scene when they encounter Iron Man.
Yes.
And he points, Star-Lord has Spider-Man and puts a gun to his head and he's like, I'll do it. He's like, where's Gamora? He's like, I'll do you one better. Who's Gamora?
And then that line,
better. Why is Gamora?
Why is Gamora?
But I love it because Iron Man, he has his whole giant blaster. It's a big old cannon to Drax's head. And Drax's like, I can take it. Like, no, you can't.
I think some of the humor that maybe people were complaining about was kind of all the references. Because Spider-Man's has all these references, but it works because of the characters.
Well, Spider-Man is a pop culture guy.
Exactly. But then the whole back and forth with Star-Lord about
the Footloose, favorite. He's like, oh, it's still the greatest movie of all time. It never was.
Never was.
Look on Star-Lord's face,
yeah.
How dare you?
That's one thing I kind of seeing, the connection with the characters, and how, Star-Lord, you see, he's been away from Earth so long, and then kind of being reintroduced kind of to Earth through these heroes, and saying so much has changed kind of way. I wish they had gone into that a little bit more,
But I'm pretty sure they're saving some stuff for future movies.
Of course, the one thing I loved is the friendship formed between Thor and Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah, they're seen.
That was great. Like, I loved how, like, automatically Rocket wants to hang out with Thor.
Yeah.
Especially when they go to that Nelophilia. I love that he's like, oh, I want to go because they have weapons. That's all he cares about. And then I just like it when Thor's like, you can't handle these weapons. Your body will crumble as your mind gives it the madness. Like, is it weird that I want to do that even more? Like,
I kind of liked one of the things about like Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2. I thought they made Rocket a little bit too much of an unlikable jerk. Mm-hmm. I know he's supposed to be a jerk.
Oh yeah.
But I loved how they pulled him off in this movie in Infinity War. Like and his back and forth with Thor.
I love when Thor's like, "You're the captain, right? You're very perceptive."
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Just goes with it. But however, the part I thought was funniest when they find Thor, and then Star-Lord's like, "This dude's still alive. This is not a dude.
This is a man.
You're a dude. This is a man." And he's like, "What?" And he has this whole inferiority complex. All of a sudden, he's like, "Whoa, wait a minute."
That was the best thing about this movie. Just the connection with the characters and their relationships and interactions.
The feeling I got from this movie was like the same feeling I got when the first Avengers. Mm-hmm. Like the first time they're crossing over. I remember when I saw that movie, you see Black Widow talking to Mark Ruffalo, and that didn't really feel like, oh, they're connecting because he was replaced by Edward Norton. And I was like, he replaced Edward Norton. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's the Hulk. Okay. It clicked for me when I was like, oh, Cap's fighting Loki. That's a Thor dude. Yeah. And then Iron Man comes in. I'm like, they're in the same scene. They were in two different movies. Yes. And that's what was cool for me. In this movie,
of course,
I get that same feeling. Like, Iron Man's meeting like Doctor Strange. Yes. Of course, and I loved in that scene where Banner's trying to get the Hulk out, and it's not happening. And Stark's like, dude, you're embarrassing me in front of the wizards. Come on. He's like, sorry, all right. And then later on, where Spider-Man's like, hey, Mr. Stark, what's going on? Oh, we're protecting some wizards from space aliens. And he's like, oh, okay. Like, I just go with it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I accept anything you say, Doctor.
Speaking of, I think one thing we got to talk about is kind of because, I mean, everybody who comes back, all the superheroes, they're great. There's a lot of surprises with some of the cameos and some of the characters in there. First off, Peter Dinklage. I heard he was going to voice one of the Black Order people. One of the Black Order guys.
That was a rumor, and it's one of the rumors I'm glad was not true.
Yeah.
Because I loved his character. He was
What was his character's name? I didn't get the name.
What was it? I forgot.
I was just like, hey, that's Peter Dinklage.
I forgot the name, but he was like the guy that forges the weapons, which I loved even more. That was just cool. It's like, we need to restart the stuff. But I just love that whole part where he gives his backstory is like, I did what Thanos wanted, but he killed my people anyway. Which I thought was like, okay.
That scene works so well, and I think that, Peter Dinklage did pull it off. I know some people didn't really like it.
I don't care.
It worked for me, and that's kind of like a subplot, Thor going to get the other weapon.
If I were to complain about anything in the movie, is that in Thor Ragnarok, Thor seemed to find this whole inner power to himself. Yeah. And in this movie, he's automatically, I need a hammer again.
Well, I think it was specifically to kill Thanos, right? Wasn't that the thing?
To be fair, he did take on the goddess of death in Ragnarok. But however, one little minor thing, Stormbreaker, I think, is by far my favorite movie weapon.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
I just, like, that scene was so great, how he forges it, and then it cuts to the Battle of Wakanda. You have all those creatures, like, storming everyone, like, nobody.
And he just appears.
It seems like, and then, like, 11th hour, there comes the Bifrost, comes down, just like, bam, into Wakanda. Stormbreaker comes flying out, spinning, zapping all those guys, and right back.
Yeah.
And, like, the greatest backup you'd ever want to have would be Thor, Rocket, and Groot. Yeah. And that was just great. That's my favorite line in the entire movie was Thor, bring me Thanos.
Yes.
Which is like, if I were to get a tattoo, that would be it. Like,
Thor was the best, I think, the best part of this movie. And, going back to, like, that whole subplot with him having to go build a weapon, it kind of seems like one of those subplots that could be filler. Mm-hmm. And I think back about, I know a lot of people have problems with, like the recently movie, like The Last Jedi with the whole cancel bite stuff. Yeah. That worked for me, but it did seem kind of goofy. And there's other movies where there's subplots like that where one character has to go to do something, and it just seems like filler, and it might not be as emotionally connective in other movies. But in this movie, that Thor thing of going to get that was so interesting.
Like, I was engaged.
Yes, it engages you.
When he's like mourning his loss, and there's Rocket like, well, I guess I got to be a captain, and talks to him.
Yeah.
Like, and I still love that whole payoff. Like, oh yeah, if you're gonna fight Thanos, you're gonna need this eye. And I just love it when he's putting it in. How even Groot, who's on a video game the entire movie, stops like.
See, that was another thing that I thought was gonna be a problem, and it kind of. At first, it was a little bit of a problem with me, like having Groot, being the angsty teenager, not interested in anything, and through the whole movie, he's on his game thing. And then when the moment comes, like moments like that, where his reaction, and then when he puts his arm, limb, or whatever to make the handle,
that was cool.
He slices it off, and it's like, yes,
however,
that's what I
think the best, like the one thing I've been wondering ever since they announced that Infinity War, everybody's meeting is like, how is everyone going to react to Groot?
Yeah.
And I still love that, though, when you see Thor fight alongside Cap, and he's like, this is my friend, he's a tree.
The tree.
And then, like, he impels, like, 10, like, of those creatures, and he's like, I am Groot, and there's Steve Rogers, who says the most Steve Rogers thing of all time.
Yeah.
I am Steve Rogers. Like,
that was hilarious.
But, like,
Chris Seifert pulls it off so well.
Like, that's the most, like, he did an oversell, he's like, oh, I'm Steve Rogers, like, oh, I'm polite, I'm greeting. He's not like, what the?
Yeah.
And again, he's accepting of everyone. He's like, well, I accept this help if I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it also leads to one of the greatest team-up moments in the entire movie, is when those creatures, I forgot what they're called.
I didn't get
were
the
they
names
Ravagers or
I don't know.
or something like that.
Those crazy demon hound
but
creatures, right?
They're coming after, and there's Rocket with his machine gun, like, come on, space dogs! And there's Winter Soldier also shooting away. They're surrounded. He just picks up Rocket, and they do that spin, and like Rocket accepts, like, yeah. And then he looks up. Like, I love that exchange. Like, how much for the gun? Not for sale. How much for that arm? Says nothing. And he's like,
I'm gonna get
it. Like, I still love that because like he's always a tinker. Like he always has an obsession with those like prosthetic arms.
Yeah, yeah. When the first movie was with the leg, and then the second movie it was
the eye.
The eye.
Getting that eye.
Yeah.
But I still think my favorite Rocket moment was in the first Guardians when he's building bombs inside the ship when we first meet him. And Quill's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, that's for things get ready here. I can split a moon in half." He's like, "We don't want to do that." He's like, "Why are you doing it in my space?" "Oh, it's in a box."
Yeah.
What's it gonna do in a box?
Just so kind of reckless.
But I love it. Like, it's in a box. It's fine.
Yeah.
But like. Rocket, I think, is one of my favorite Marvel movie characters.
Oh yeah,
and like
Bradley Cooper just does such a good job voicing the character.
But it's fun because he's an interesting character. Like I can watch a Rocket movie if they made it. If they said this is what it's going to be, I'd be like, I will watch it. I will be first in line. It'd be Rocket and Groot probably.
They just need a whole movie about Thor and Rocket and Groot.
I would see that movie. I would. And then he meets up with Stallone and his guys.
Yeah.
Like, that's the movie I want to see.
You know, do you think that maybe they would, like, if they make a Guardians 3, let's say Gamora doesn't come back or anything, that they would introduce characters like have Thor go on an adventure with him?
It'd be a missed opportunity if they didn't. So that's assuming he survives the next one.
Well, we're talking about Gamora and her death. The one character that pops up that I was surprised was Red Skull.
That was kind of cool because I see that.
What's your take on that?
So, I think that's a scene that it didn't have to be Red Skull, but it was amazing fan service because for 10 years we've been asking what happened to that guy.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like in Captain America when he grabbed the Cosmic Cube, he vaporized. That's what I thought. But it shows that he was basically was it a ring wraith look like? Kind of
basically,
thing?
Yeah.
And I was
it was like he was like the knights at the end of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, like
basically, the Grail. And that was cool. Like it didn't need to be there, but I loved it.
And it didn't make sense, as in like it had to be Red Skull. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was fan service that worked, and I was glad to see Red Skull.
Like again, like I saw it twice. Both times it was. Oh shit! What?
But it really helped even more so build out the universe.
Oh yeah, and that's what these movies are great at because before, like the first couple of movies, it kind of annoyed me when they went out of the way to establish they're in the same universe. Because, like, I think up until Avengers, like, it was going same universe. Look,
Like,
especially Iron Man 2 was really distracting. Like, that whole movie is basically we're in the same universe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then I just loved how they connected. Like, that was great. But my only complaint is, like, I wanted more Captain America.
And Captain America and Black Panther don't really get much to do.
No, if anything, I think my favorite character from Black Panther was his sister.
Oh yeah.
So I wanted more of her.
And what's the other the other guard? What's her name? I can't remember the name.
The actress from Walking Dead.
Yes.
Yeah, she was awesome, but
I loved how they used her in this movie.
And especially when Scarlet Witch shows up at the battle and kicks out, she's like, "What is she doing up there? Come on!" Like, I was like, seriously. But,
well, one thing that I was going to mention about Red Skull was Hugo Weaving didn't come back to portray him.
He sounded just like him.
Ross Marquand. I'm a big fan of him. I know he's from The Walking Dead, right?
Yeah, he was.
I don't know him from The Walking Dead, but I know him from his celebrity impressions. And he's just such a cool guy. And
well, like, it wasn't distracting enough.
It wasn't at all, yeah.
But
I knew it wasn't Hugo Weaving when he came out. I was like, who is this guy? But once I learned it was Ross Marquand.
No,
I would like to see him come back as Red Skull.
I'd be down for that. Like, it was cool. But I heard Hugo Weaving, he didn't like the whole makeup process.
Yeah, he just didn't.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you can just motion capture that now. Look at Snoke in Star Wars. I mean, they can turn a guy into a monkey.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're telling me they can't do a Red Skull on someone's face?
I'm thinking if they bring Red Skull back, I wouldn't want Hugo Weaving to come back. Kind of, I would like this guy to continue.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
not that Hugo Weaving is a bad.
I have nothing against Hugo Weaving, awesome. But if you like hindsight, he looks really typecast in that movie.
Yeah, that was the thing. It was kind of
like more if it was me, I would have gone Willem Dafoe as a red skull. Like that would have been a really like maybe too scary. But I think the cool thing about Marvel, like the past couple of movies, they found a way to make the villains very interesting.
Oh yeah.
Like
we gotta talk about Thanos and
like if we go back to I think starting Captain America: Civil War is when they started to get interested because before they're like I'm evil kind of thing, and if
just like the evil doppelgangers of the hero.
Basically, now if you looked at Loki, he was like I think actually the first one that was kind of like he found out in that movie he was adopted.
Yeah.
And that one, the god of mischief, you know what? I'm just gonna play that part. Like he had that whole mentality. And even in Avengers, there's that one scene where Thor he has like had him by the throat and like look around you, and Loki looks horrified, like what's going on. But then he goes back to
he grounded him.
It's like whatever, you know. And this is my part. It was like he just like it was kind of a way just to get back at his brother, kind of thing.
Yeah. You kind of felt that he understood what he was doing was wrong, but he had proper motivation, and it was coming from what he was feeling. Yeah.
And then you go to Civil War. You go to Zemo.
Yeah.
He's doing all this because he lost his family, and at the end of it, he's like, "No, I'm gonna get rid of these superheroes' family, and then I'm gonna kill myself." That he wasn't like, "I'm gonna take over the world." He's like, "No."
I loved Baron Zemo. He wasn't Baron Zemo, right? He was just Zemo.
Zemo. I call him Baron Zemo. I was kind of mad he didn't have the mask.
Yeah.
But people are like, "No, we're paying this much money. We want to see his face." I'm like, "No, pay him less money. I want to see the mask." But at the end, I was like, "Okay, it worked." But I think the favorite Zemo moment in that movie is when he tries to shoot himself and the Panther stops him.
Yeah.
He's like, "No, we're not done with you yet." I was like, "Oh, okay." And then you get to, I think in Ragnarok, I thought Hela was kind of like two-dimensional. I was like, "Oh, I just want revenge of my family." Oh, okay, I guess. But that was still just a fun movie.
Yeah. And
then you get to Black Panther, Killmonger.
Oh, Killmonger, yeah.
Like, you actually see his point, and it's like, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
But at the end of the movie, it turns out Black Panther did what Killmonger was doing, just less, like, not evil, but just more well-intentioned.
Yeah, well, there's one thing that I was reading about cinematic villains, and about, this is way off talking about superhero movies, but Sling Blade, the Billy Bob Thornton movie, Dwight Yoakam, his character in that movie, he's one of the worst villains in cinematic history, and it's all because he's so vulnerable too. Because there's a scene where he breaks down crying when the little kid tries to kick him out of the house, and Billy Bob Thornton said, "Yeah, you kind of have to bring that vulnerability in order to flesh that character out, and it makes him that much more hateable that much more evil. Even though he was like a human, but then going to Thanos, someone like Thanos, Josh Brolin brings the exact same kind of
like
empathy. I don't know, humanness to him, to Thanos, that
of course, like
you feel for him.
Like, and it's weird because, like, even when he talks about his whole backstory, he's like, "Oh, I said like genocide, completely random. Like, no, we're not gonna go after you." It's like completely
because it's all logical in his head, yeah.
And it's like, what?
Yeah.
But then, like, even the part where he tells Gamora, like, he killed half my planet. It's like, yeah, but now, like, those kids, they don't know hunger. They don't, like, everyone's fine.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
I think sometimes,
Of course, I will say the only thing I ever regret about Thanos, there's a whole missed opportunity. It becomes a one-line of dialogue, like, oh, he destroyed Xandar.
yeah.
Like, I wanted to see that. Like, I wanted to see the Nova Corps stopping him.
I'm pretty sure that's a
trying to.
deleted scene.
I
I'm
heard
pretty
there's
sure
a
that's
lot
a
of deleted
deleted-
scenes
yeah,
because there was
it's
a
terrible.
lot of things in the trailer that weren't in the movie.
Yes.
Like Cap trying out his new shield, and I think there's even a whole Black Panther speech that was in the trailer but not in the
I
movie.
think so. Well, even the whole shot of all the group that are all the Avengers that are in Wakanda running, and because Hulk is in that shot and he's not in the, he didn't Hulk out at that point.
The one thing I still love they kept true is that when everyone's charging those, you see Panther and Cap outrunning everyone.
That was so cool.
Like they're not even trying, and I was like, oh, that was neat. Now I will say, War Machine was cool in this movie.
Yes.
Like I loved how like Don Cheadle was great.
Yes.
It's still a point. I kind of wish it would go back and do a Star Wars thing and just CGI him into the original Iron Man.
There's some stuff like that I would like to do with all the Marvel
like,
movies.
Let's replace Mark Ruffalo's head on Edward
Yeah.
Norton. But I mean, it is what it is. The way I see it with the change in actors, though, is it's like how in comic books artist styles are different from other artists.
Yeah.
So I that's how I accept. I'm like, okay, I just think, oh, it's a different take. That's all it is.
I don't really mind so much unless the first person who did a role, knocked it out of the park, and the second person didn't do a good job. I think Terrence Howard definitely did a good job, serviceable job in the first Iron Man. I think Don Cheadle does bring something different to the role. And yeah, he was good in this movie.
But like even I love how they have the leftover from Civil War. He's still wearing that brace so he can walk. And even a little cameo by Ross was really cool.
I like that they brought him back just for that. Even
like he's telling him like, oh yeah, you don't know how to do anything. He's like, come on, I paid the price. Just don't tell me I'm not committed. It's like that was cool. Now the one thing I knew going in for a fact, Vision was gonna die. I knew he was gone out of this entire movie. I, however, broke my heart that he died only to come back to die again.
Yeah, once like his body just like fell and he was just like all the color drained from him and he fell and you're like he's just like a android body, lifeless, and I was like.
But however, I will say like I love how Scarlet Witch kills the man, the synthoid man she loves, and then Thanos he's like. Look, I feel bad that you had to do that, but I want that stone. Even like how he like brushes her hair back is like I know. Well,
there's moments like that where he interacts with the heroes, like what he says tells Star-Lord when he takes Gamora. So I like you, or like he tells him something like
that. He doesn't live the movie.
Yeah,
but I still love that though. How he's like told her to do something, like puts closer to the gun. Yeah, that was cool. But of course. Right after he kills Collector, I think they're going to fight the drug cartel after this. He's like, you free later to go fight the cartel? Okay, we're done. But that was kind of cool. The one thing I was... Like, Thanos, he became my favorite Marvel villain.
Oh,
hands down.
Yeah,
and it's weird because, like, going back, I've never been a Thanos... Like, I'm a fan of the character in the comics.
Yes.
But every time he shows up, I've always been like, oh, they're just going to fight Thanos. Like, he's not my favorite Marvel villain in the comics. But this movie made him like my favorite movie villain. Yeah, and I think
it's all about how Josh Brolin portrays him, and then how the Russos I think directed him.
Oh yeah,
and brought out that his motivation, his character, and stuff. Because I remember the whole teasers we got at the end of Avengers, and then at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy. He just seemed kind of generic, and I was like, I'm not really looking forward to him being the big bad.
He kind of seemed like the Emperor in Star Wars, just sitting there like, do my bidding, okay. Yeah. But I remember Bobby was the one that told me, like when he saw him at the end of Avengers, he's like, wait for it. Okay, we saw him in Guardians. It's like, I was like, wait for it.
Yeah.
And again, I was like, all right, Bobby, you were right. Like, I waited, and I was not disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, and the other review that I did, I talked about, I couldn't spoil anything when I talked about the final shot with Thanos. Just looking out at the sunset.
I don't think I've ever seen a more peaceful villain in any movie.
It was kind of like, I was like, I wanted to root for him, but then I was like, you horrible bastard.
I was like, part of you was like, he got what he wanted. Good for him. Followed by, you're a son of a bitch that killed Spider-Man.
yeah.
Dude, you killed Peter.
And that Spider-Man death scene, man, that was tragic.
Honestly, there's that part, I heard it's improvised by Tom Holland, where he starts crying, like, I don't feel good, and he's like, I don't want to go. And what's crazy about that, there's a theory online, and I'm not, to be fair, let's go back a little bit. I never buy into fan theories online, because half the time it's like, really...
Half the time they kind of get your hopes up, and you know that it's not going to be true.
The only fan theory that I buy into is that the reason he's the only one to be like, I don't feel good, because that's his spider sense going into overload.
That makes perfect sense.
Because he gets like, he's like, I'm about to die.
Yeah.
I don't feel good. I don't like this.
That makes perfect sense. He's like on high alert.
That's the only time there's a fan theory, I'm like, that makes sense. Okay. And it's not like The Last Jedi where they're like, hey, your fan theories mean nothing after 2 years. Which I honestly think that's the only reason people hated that movie.
Yeah, and a lot of people are making parallels with story decisions in Infinity War and The Last Jedi, and I do see them. But the funny thing is, like, after The Last Jedi, I was like, I don't know what to expect. At the end of Infinity War, I'm like, bring on the next movie. I want to see how this plays out.
This was the Empire Strikes Back in Marvel.
So everybody's talking about that.
With this movie, I'm going to say this. It showed me it's a generational thing now.
Yeah.
Like, these Marvel movies are this generation Star Wars.
Of course, yeah.
Like, Star Wars made a comeback, but Star Wars is now for you and me.
Yeah.
Like, it's not for kids. Like, kids are still going to enjoy Star Wars. But it's not like, oh, you're going to be inspired by these.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny? My little brothers, I mean, they talk about these movies like, they haven't seen all of them, but it's like they know everything.
I mean, like...
And with Star Wars, it's kind of like they need to get everything explained to them.
Like, Star Wars, one thing's like, oh, that was a fun movie. That was cool. Like, the nostalgia me, I enjoy going back to this universe after so many years. Yes. With this, I'm just happy that people are now enjoying what I was reading as a kid, but like live action. And I know there's a lot of fans that throw a fit like, oh, they don't follow the comics exactly. Yeah.
They don't need to. It's a whole different medium.
Me as a fan, as a screenwriter, I understand it. Yeah. Because I'm glad when I don't know what's coming. Because if it goes verbatim with a comic, I'm going to be bored. As a fan,
yeah. Well, that's what a lot of like novel adaptations or something like that. They fall into the trap. So you kind of know what's going to happen.
That's probably like one of the reasons why I'm not saying never, but I don't think I would ever want to adapt a novel. Yeah. Because everybody sees it differently in their head. Yeah. Now, comic book is a little bit different because there's so many styles. I'm like, oh, this is my style.
There's no one definitive way to do it.
People can argue, like, no, this is the definitive. Like, no, not really. Because if you look at Frank Miller, his Batman looks way different than Jim Lee's, give or take.
Same character. But just a different take.
It's like, look at Nolan and Tim Burton. Their Batman is way different.
Oh, yeah. I love both of them.
I mean, you can still tell they're Batman, but I mean, they're two different. But again, like, it just goes to show, like, this is Marvel is this generation Star Wars. Yeah. Like, hands down, there's not. I mean, there's other studios, like, trying to compete and failing. Yeah. But I'm not saying this as a Marvel fan because I like Marvel and DC the same.
I wish DC was on this level, but unfortunately not right now.
No, I mean, to be fair, I think they had a cool tone thing going. Like, that's what separated. But then this movie is like, no, we want it Marvel, and then you're like, okay.
I still have yet to see Justice League just because I knew it was going to be disappointing.
All I will say is, very distracting. Yeah, they could have given him a beard and would have been 100% plausible. But so it makes me think in the next movie, are they going to CGI Cap's beard off? I mean, I will say Captain America with a beard is the coolest thing ever. Yeah. And I love how his design, he was basically like, he's now the behind-the-scenes fighter. Yeah. And he's basically the nomad of the Marvel MCU. And it was great. Like, Captain America, I love his whole storyline. I love Chris Evans' portrayal. Now, going in, backtracking a little bit, I kind of when they cast Chris Evans as Captain America, the performance he gave in the first Captain America movie, it was good, but I kind of felt like anybody could have really played Captain America.
Yeah, it was a little one note in terms, but I think that's kind of what was needed.
It was the same thing in the Avengers.
Yeah.
It wasn't until Winter Soldier I'm like, no one else can play Captain America.
He really found the character, I think, in that movie, and going forward, I know like in Age of Ultron, I really liked his portrayal in that, and kind of the back and forth between him and Tony Stark, and then of course in Civil War.
That was great. Like Civil War, the only problem I had with Civil War is that the stakes weren't that high. It was more of an intimate movie. It was an epic intimate movie, if that makes any sense.
I think that's one of the things that now with the movies is kind of like going back and forth. Mm-hmm. The threats are going to be all over the place, you know, like on the worldwide scale, on the galaxy scale, like with Thanos, and then like now I'm interested in seeing what's going to come with Ant-Man and the Wasp, because I know it's supposed to take place before Infinity War.
You know, after the darkness in Infinity War, I am happy to get Paul Rudd as Ant-Man.
Yeah,
because I think this is what we need. Because I'm like, I won't give me some laughter in this universe.
Everybody says it's going to be like a palate cleanser, but I'm kind of afraid that then it might be too small on scale.
However, you know, it'd be really cool at the end of Ant-Man and Wasp if Ant-Man is one to like turn to ash, and then Wasp has to.
And that's kind of what I'm expecting, kind of something like that.
That would be cool because, well, don't get me wrong, I love Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. He's one of my favorite actors. I will say that. But I mean, if you give me the unexpected, I'm more engaged.
If Paul Rudd and Michael Douglas, Hank Pym, they both, but then they get what Janet Van Dyne, is that her name? Yeah. The mom, like they get her back from the whatever. What is it? The
Quantum Realm.
Quantum Realm. Dude, and then it's the two wasps that are left, and they have to.
I would be down for that, but like, I don't know what to expect. Like right now, I'm up for anything, and I'm excited. Yeah. My question is like, what are they going to do in Phase 4?
Yeah,
because now they have Fantastic Four and X-Men, right?
Well, I think that the way the business deal is going is that it's not going to be for another few years that they can actually bring them in.
That's why in like X-Men movie side, they're still going about business as usual.
Yes.
Because we're getting a whole lot of X-Men movies. We're getting Dark Phoenix. We're getting
New Mutants.
New Mutants, yeah. Deadpool 2. X-Force.
Yeah, X-Force.
So they're still going on with that.
I just heard some news, actually, that Ryan Reynolds was saying that as far as right now, they're not talking about a Deadpool 3. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that has something to do maybe with the Fox Disney merger.
It could also be like they don't want to count their chickens. Because it's not going to happen. That off chance Deadpool 2 just bombs.
Which I doubt.
It's not going to happen. Because, I mean...
Seeing Josh Brolin as Thanos, I'm ready to see Josh Brolin as Cable.
However, I will say this. I never want marketing for Deadpool to ever end.
Yeah, just to keep going.
I want it to keep going.
Deadpool should market other movies.
He should. I mean, have you seen the second anniversary DVD came out or Blu-ray came out?
No, I didn't.
There's little stickers on there so you can photobomb Deadpool onto other movies.
Oh, I heard about some of that.
And it's fun. There's him with claws. I'm like, oh, that'd be so great. But I think again, like, cool. But I mean, let's. The cool thing I'm excited about them getting the mutant characters back. We can finally get rid of the Inhumans and stop pretending they're the new X-Men because they are not.
I didn't even bother watching.
I don't think anyone did.
Nobody did.
No, because I mean, I saw like the first few episodes, and they said filmed with IMAX cameras. Well, since I watched them on a TV, that really helped out. I'm like, all right. But I mean. I don't know, the budget was weird. Like, they lived on the moon, but the apartment wasn't like a space apartment. Mm-hmm. It looked like, they filmed in some hotel. Looked like nobody tried on that show. Except for, like, the space dog they had.
He looked pretty cool, yeah. I'm sure they had to put a lot of money into making that.
That's probably why he appeared, like, 2 minutes an episode.
Yeah.
But, back to the movies. Got off track a little bit. But, did you have anything in that movie that you thought didn't have to be in there?
That didn't have to be in there?
Like any disappointments or slow spots?
I thought getting into like the end of the first hour, I thought it was kind of slowing down a bit because it kind of had to like because it kept introducing other characters.
Oh,
like
there
at
were
first,
a lot of characters.
at first it was like the introduction of you got Thor, and then introducing Iron Man and Doctor Strange, and then introducing the Guardians, and going back and introducing. Once it like came back to reintroducing Captain America and Scarlet Johansson. I meant Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, and them. At that point, it kind of felt like, is this all it's going to be? Kind of like just the characters kind of come popping up. It slowed down a bit for me there. Actually, that's when I wanted to take a bathroom break. But then once the Guardians they get to nowhere.
Okay, I gotta say
it picked up from there, and I had no problem. So it was maybe 5-10 minutes that I felt it was like, get going already. But it got going again. So I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal.
One thing I gotta say that I thought was like really funny, and no one else in the theater thought was funny, is when they introduced the Guardians into the movie. There's that shot of all the stars, and then we had to get that little subtitle, space.
Yes, that was hilarious.
Like
everybody laughed at my screening.
Like, did that really? Of course, another joke that people seem to get is when Rocket hands Thor the eye. It's like, I wish you would have watched that first, because the smuggler had to stick it up my ass, and then it gets cut off.
Yeah, nobody
seemed to get that one.
It was funny because there was one guy like sitting right behind me, who like at the first hour and a half, he thought everything was funny, and he just kept laughing and laughing, and I was like, shut up, dude. But eventually, once it kind of got going and more emotional stuff, he did quiet down. So I was like, thank God.
Because if he like,
I think he probably when Gamora died,
like, shut up.
But like, it just like Tony Stark would say a word.
Okay. Now, a lot of people, they're like, I'm gonna wait for a home video to watch this.
Mm-hmm. Why?
No. This is a movie.
Why would anybody?
No, this is a movie you need to see with an audience.
Yes.
Like both times, the best audience reactions I've ever seen in the movie.
Yeah.
And like you watch it, and when you see like Hulk jump on Thanos and start pounding away, people are like, yeah. And then like Thanos takes him out, you have the whole audience. Oh, like collective. Oh, shit.
Yeah. And I didn't see it. Did you see it with the packed house?
Both times, yeah.
Both times?
Yeah, opening weekend.
Because I saw it kind of early. It wasn't a packed house for me. It was kind of a smaller size audience, but it was like everybody picked the good seats right in the middle. So it was like everybody was sitting together, and everybody loved it. And during the emotional scenes, everybody's gasping. Yeah. So it was really a good thing to see it with an audience.
Dude,
now I want to go see it with the packed house.
It's the way to say it, because like, you also get like two different reactions on two different things. Because there's a part where the first screening I saw, Iron Man suits up, like Tony Stark, you see the nanotech, which is awesome, by the way. It's better than the suitcase armor he had for some reason. But I was like, okay, that was cool. And then like people are like, oh, okay. Cap shows up, Hal's like, yeah. Thor shows up, roof blows up. Same with the second showing, like the Thor scene, everybody was like,
oh
yeah.
And
then the second screening, Iron Man shows up, everybody, yeah. Cap shows up, your buddy killed Stark's mom. Oh, well, okay, that's the audience. Like, oh, that's an Iron Man audience. Okay, but and again, like when I went to go see it the first time with my friends, like it of course happens during Fiesta downtown.
I see. That's what I was gonna go over the weekend to see it, but because of Fiesta, I said now just wait till Monday.
It was downtown, and I'm thinking to myself, are people here for Avengers or Fiesta?
Yeah.
And apparently it was Avengers because everybody was waiting.
You saw it Friday?
Yeah, Friday night. Yeah. And dude, it was like I loved, like, if you want to see any movie with an audience, see a Marvel movie with an audience.
Yeah.
Now a lot of people are like, no, I don't like the crowds. This is worth it because like there's sometimes you just like you dig the reactions more.
And this is such a good movie just because of like the emotional kind of ups and downs and stuff, and everybody gets into it. And I think that's the one thing, because it is really a culmination of all the movies, because the characters, it's one of the other like nitpicks was like the characters do go through a lot, but our main heroes, they don't have much growth.
Well, I mean,
but that was good because like they just come in and you're like, oh, that's Iron Man, it's Captain America kind of thing. You kind of have to know everything that they've been through.
Yeah, because I kind of felt like if we got more growth from this character, I mean, you definitely got more for Tony Stark.
Tony Stark was the one that
cool. And Gamora,
he went through a lot. And Gamora, yes.
And then
Gamora and Nebula and the relationship with Thanos.
If we didn't focus on Thanos, we wouldn't care when he wins at the end.
Yeah,
we would have been like, what a dick.
Yeah,
but I mean, you actually got to know Thanos, and like you see where he's coming from, and then you get what he's actually sacrificing to achieve this end. Like, he actually loves Gamora.
Mm-hmm.
Except when he kills her, he's crying. And I love that. She's like, seriously, you're crying because you're not getting what you want? And then Red Skull's like, those children aren't for him. Then she's like,
that's tragic.
But I still, I think one of the surprising sequences in the movie is Gamora's backstory. Like, when it cuts to, and it was a cool fan thing when you see the Chitauri and those giant, I think Leviathans, as they were called.
The Leviathans, yeah.
They're flying around, like, destroying her homeworld.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how she's looking for her mom, and Thanos finds her, and she tells him, like, looking for my mom. And then he talks to her, like, takes her hand, and no, don't look. And then, like, kills, like, half her race.
It makes Thanos seem very intelligent and knowing what he's doing, yeah.
But, like, at first, I was like, that's kind of messed up. And then, like, when Trezor's like, no.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay, he actually cares about her. That's a little... It was jarring at first.
It was, yeah.
But, again, Josh Brolin sells this movie.
He does, yeah.
Like, I'm just ashamed, like, they don't have, like, a mocap award for considerate acting.
Yeah, because he would be definitely a nomination.
Like, I would have been like, dude, okay, that's... Pretty sure, like, if he gets any circus, I'm like, dude, come on, just give me one. But I don't know, it was good. Like, I love that movie.
Yeah, like,
it was so good. Even at the end, he's so content. How the part I love is when Thor goes up against Thanos, and he just throws Stormbreaker, and the Bifrost opens and goes through the Infinity Beam, and, like, right into the chest.
Yes, yeah.
At first, it's all like, yeah, and then, like, right when he's dying, I'm thinking to myself, wait, a part 2's coming out. wait. And then Thor's like, oh, it's one of you who dies. Like, get it in my head.
Yeah, that's the snap.
And I was like, oh, shit.
Yes.
But, I mean, the only complaint I will have with Marvel, in general, and right now I guess they kind of learned, but they have a habit of announcing everything coming out before.
Yeah, like, that's the one thing that...
like, they kind of put all their... I mean, I was disappointed the most with Age of Ultron.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that was coming out, and in the trailer they show Hulkbuster. As the fan, I was like, yes! But then, like, I started thinking, that better live up to my expectations. Instead of, like, I would have loved just seeing it in the movie.
Yeah.
And being like, oh, shit, yes! Because, I mean, I'm actually surprised how much they kept out of the marketing of this movie.
Yes, because it was... I got so much stuff that I wasn't expecting.
And another thing that I thought was kind of cool, bugged me. Before Ultron even came out, like, I'm thinking, which Avenger's gonna die? I think someone might die. And then before that came out,
you already knew.
They were like, oh, here's what's coming on Phase 3. Here's
Civil War's coming out, so you know everybody's coming back.
So as soon as they announced Civil War, instead of going, I can't wait for Age of Ultron, I was like, well, I guess I'll get through Ultron to get to that. But then, like, before Ultron even comes out, it's like, oh, here's the cast. It's Jeremy Renner, Scarlett Johansson. Yeah. And I'm like, I guess they live. And you look at the person who's not in the movie, he's like, I guess they die in Ultron. And I was right. Like, that kind of bugged me. But since I already knew there's going to be a part 2 to Infinity War, like, as soon as Thanos was impaled, it took me out of the moment real fast. And I was like,
it did.
Oh, wait, how? What?
So now I'm wondering what's going to happen next. I'm ready to see.
So do you think in the next movie Thanos is going to take a little backseat so we can focus on the Avengers coping with this?
I think it's going to be the original Avengers team coming back up, and they're going to be like the main characters.
Now, one thing I can't really say I'm excited because I'm a little heartbroken for it. I want to see how Tony's going to react knowing he couldn't do anything to save the one kid that he tried to protect.
I think it's part 2 is going to lead up, or the next movie is going to lead up to Tony sacrificing himself, and he's going to be the ultimate, like, last death.
Honestly, I don't know. This is speculation. I think Cap and Tony are going to sacrifice themselves.
I could see that too.
Because I think Cap will be like, together or not at all. Play that off, and then they're going to die. But I don't want them to die, because I kind of want Steve to have a happy ending. I mean, to be fair...
Well, someone said it should be like he gets sent back through time somehow with the time stone and live out his life.
Peggy Carter. Peggy. Of course, I think that'd be a little messed up. It's like, hey, you get married in the future. That's not happening. Tough luck, buddy. But to be fair, like, if he dies, okay, I can see it.
Yeah.
But I kind of want him to have a happy ending, because as far as
you want all of them to have a happy ending.
He's like 100 years old and he still hasn't gotten laid yet. Like, he's been like, I'm gonna protect people. Well, and then like
doing his American duty.
I think that wasn't a funny ongoing joke in Winter Soldier where Black Widow's trying to set him up with people.
Yeah.
And he's like, what about that chick from accounting? Not the girl with the lip ring? I'm ready for that. Like, that's such an old man thing to say. And it's coming from Chris Evans, which is so funny. But I mean, again, I love this movie. Can't wait for part 2. I honestly cannot wait for Captain Marvel. I want to see how that's going to go.
I'm ready for Ant-Man and Wasp. For Captain Marvel, see what's coming up next and see what happens in the next Avengers movie.
Like, I think it'd be kind of cool if the Phase 4 logo was a Fantastic Four logo. But
I still don't think they're going to bring Fantastic Four in soon.
But... Well, let's talk about, like, future movies, because they're probably going to have, like, a whole villain they're going to set up for future movies. And, like, thinking, like, I can't be like, oh, this would be a great villain. The way Marvel's been doing their villains, they can take the most obscure villain and make them cool.
Yeah.
They made the Guardians... Okay, let's go back. They made Iron Man cool.
Yes.
I mean, if you go back 10 years, no one cared about Iron Man.
I remember the first review I heard for Iron Man, that was like, it's an awesome movie. And I was
like, as soon as...
And it was unexpected.
No, because as soon as they cast Robert Downey, I was like, that might be cool. But it was still that era of like, oh, Marvel movie's coming out. And as a fan, you're like, well, I'll go see it because it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Because we've been burned so many times with those movies.
Yes. And
then I went to go see it, and I'm like, that was actually kind of cool. Okay, and even you stayed till the end credit scene, which after 10 years, people still leave during the credits.
I think some people are like, I'll catch it online, so I don't really have to stay. I need to use the bathroom.
I see it, I'm just like, have you learned nothing? That kind of bugs me. It's like, yes. But I mean, as soon as I say Avengers, like, that's kind of cool, but I'm followed by, are they actually going to do this? That's what I thought. Like, or it's just like, oh, we're just going to say it and never do it.
Yeah.
And then we see Incredible Hulk, and he appears it wasn't a post-credit scene. He just showed up at the end, right? Tony Stark?
Yeah.
Tony he just shows up at the end. He's like, hey, we're putting a team together. And like, oh, okay, maybe? Okay. And then what came out? Was it Iron Man 2 after that? Or?
Iron Man 2 was after that.
And then it was Thor and the Cap.
And then
you're like, well, you better show me something if you're getting my hopes up. And that didn't disappoint.
Yeah.
But, yeah, at the end of the day, like, I kind of feel like Marvel... Oh, yeah, I mean, they added humans. That kind of messed up there.
They're not perfect. But so far with what they're doing, I think they've gotten really smart over the last few movies. And I'm just ready to see the next one. I guess we'll wrap it up here. Is there anything else you want to say about the movie?
Go see it.
It's a high recommendation. It's knocks it out of the park. I give it an 8 or 8.5 out of 10 because it's not perfect. It kind of has to be seen as a part of all the movies that come before. I don't really see it as a kind of standalone movie, but it is awesome.
I get it 10 finger snaps out of 10.
All right, that sounds good. And try to see it in the IMAX if you can. That's the best way to see it. You haven't seen it 3D, but
that
see it in the
movie
IMAX.
will have you asking, why is Gamora?
Is there any way that the viewers can follow you on social media or anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I have my Facebook account. It's my name, Chris Seifert. You can follow me on Instagram, Chris Seifert 52. I'm actually more active on that. And you can follow me on Twitter. My handle is InsomniacMan52 at
Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. Yeah.
I'll link the things in the description. Maybe we'll do a follow-up video sometime. After I see the movie again, maybe we can do another.
This should have been like a podcast followed by a podcast, and each of those has like a post podcast.
Like a podcast in like 6 episodes or something.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But I think that'd be, again, like the movie was great, exceeded all of my expectations.
Yes.
Nobody's facial hair was CGI'd. That was cool. My only complaint is that it ended.
Yeah.
And it ended the way it did, with me liking and hating Thanos at the same time.
Yeah.
Again, like one of the greatest cinematic villains.
So thank you for watching this spoiler review. Let us know what you thought of the movie, if you've seen it, how many times you saw it, what are your favorite parts, if you had any criticisms, because I know not everybody's going to like the movie equally. And thanks for watching. You can watch more content here on the Roman Rodez YouTube channel. You can catch our podcasts, our little medleys, and a variety of other little videos. Thanks again for Chris Seifert for joining me on this episode of this video to do the review, and hopefully we can do some more reviews in the future. I know for sure Han Solo movie. We got to do a review on that when it comes out.
May I say the only critique I have of the movie is I don't like how Spider-Man refers to my favorite movies as really old movies.
We're getting really old, and it's something you gotta come to face with. We're old men now.
Yeah, that's only if you act that way.
That's true. You're only as old as you feel. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.